Okay, so today we are rebuilding Manchester United in two separate ways. Number one, in full realism, breaking down Ruben Amorim's tactics and taking United on a realistic transfer journey. And part two, we are going on to break 8 incredible club records. This rebuild is an absolute banger. It combines 2 rebuilds already up on the channel, but today we compile them to make the ultimate Manchester United rebuild as we do full realism and break club records in one video. And here you can see us in a fully updated database with Manchester United finishing down in 14th place on 45 points, slightly better than things finished in real life. But other than that, it is fully up to date and fully realistic, including the incoming transfer of Matheus Cunha and the outgoings of Jadon Sancho and Anthony. As I said, for this rebuild, we'll be going fully realistic. Only transfers that Manchester United have been linked to in real life and things that I think could potentially happen. And outgoings wise, we are going to make some very, very tough decisions, and we're going to do things as realistic as possible. Which also means using realistic versions of Ruben Amorim's tactics, which we have created 3 of, which will be available to download on the Patreon. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. I've got the boxed midfield version, I've got the wide winger on the right version, and then I've got the attacking wing back on the right version with the winger on attack version, just to give us all 3 variations. And like I said, I'll be playing every single game for this video, so we're going to be really able to get the correct squad rotation and usage of the tactics and see how well things go. Now, one thing that I've done different in this video to anything I've ever done before is I've gone into the pre-game editor and slightly buffed a few of the Manchester United wonder kids, just so we can really see if they progress in the rebuild and if they are given a chance in the real United team, how well they could progress. Not they're going to be starters straight away or even in this video, because this is going to be a 2-part series. Number 1, a full realism fixing the club, and number 2, we are potentially going to do the record breaker rebuild, but with Manchester United, which is going to be very difficult but very fun. So you can see I've slightly buffed Chido to be kind of ready to play now if needed, but with that 5-star potential. Benzito Mantalto is a fantastic wing back at the academy. Again, I've buffed him at 17 years of age. He's got ridiculous potential, but he might never make it. Aiden Heaven is someone which, if you just load up the base version of the game, is awful, so I've completely changed that. So he's got 5-star potential and a good starter right now. Same goes for Harry Amas and Tyler Fredrickson with some good potential, but I didn't stop there. The likes of Goodwill Kokonki, Amir Ibrahimov, Jack Fletcher have all got potential to eventually become Manchester United players, as well as a few others like Jaden Camerson, Victor Musa, Jace Fitzgerald and Shea Lacey, also having the opportunity if given the correct management. And today that's kind of what I want to do. I want to bring back the youthful side of Manchester United, which I think will happen next season. We are in no European football, and I do believe we are going to have to rely a little bit on the youth. There is no real hiding the fact United are screwed financially, and we are probably going to have to make some very tough decisions, which probably means also not replacing them with the best players possible. We're going to have to be smart in the window, frugal with our budget, and really, really believe in the youth at the club. So as things stand, this is what I would currently say is Manchester United's best 11, with Onana in goal, Yoro, De Ligt, Martinez as the back 3, Dalot, Dorgu, Bruno, Ugarte, Mainu, Diallo and Xerxes up front. But as I've said, we need to make some big changes, because this is all I think we have left after our summer clear out and moving on some players into rotational positions. In goal, I do firmly believe Andre Onana is gone, especially after not being included in the final matchday squad. The back 3 I actually think is very good. Lenny Yoro, De Ligt and Martinez. I don't think that's a priority this summer especially, maybe next year, but this year we've got a good base foundation, and of course our backups on the bench, the likes of Aiden Haven, Tyler Fredrickson, Harry Maguire, are all going to be very good step-ins. At left wing back, we've just signed Patrick Dorgu, and I've actually been very impressed. I think that's a very good deal. While for right back, I think we are going to replace Diogo Dalot. I have kept him as a rotation option because I can't see him leaving the club, but I think he will be upgraded. As for Nusa Mazraoui, I have sort of used him as a utility centre-back for this video, which I think is what he's going to pretty much go to in the future as well. In midfield, you can see there's a player not in these 3 positions. It's Bruno Fernandes. Now, I actually done 3 years of this video until Bruno Fernandes had the £100 million offer from Saudi, and I polled it on the YouTube, and 80% of you said to sell him. So I restarted the whole rebuild, which was very, very painful to do, but we've sold Bruno Fernandes, and he is not going to be a part of this Manchester United team for the first season. And I'll get into just why I said the first season in a little bit's time, because now we are, I'm on the 27th of May, is looking less likely that he's going to leave. So I think what we're going to do is this first season especially, we'll have without Bruno Fernandes. But maybe going forward, I'll bring him back in, but just showing, without Bruno and with the money we raise from Bruno, we still can fix this United side and we can still get some fantastic results. That does mean I think Kobbie Mainoo gets that roaming playmaker role in the midfield to himself, and he sort of goes in where Bruno has been. He also has played in this attacking midfielder position a hell of a lot. We also have Mason Mount, who has been quite impressive in recent weeks to play in that role, but I think we're more of the backup. I think Ahmad is one of the only certain starters in the brand new era at Manchester United. He is just absolutely fantastic. And as for the striker position, we are getting rid of Rasmus Højlund. Joshua Zirkzee right now is the only striker I am keeping at the club. And again, someone that I have slightly altered his positional play so that he can also play in the cam role as well, because we've seen that at United this season. So if needs be, Zirkzee can play in that role. And the same goes for Ahmad. I've amended it so he can also play in the wing back role. I've not buffed his defensive stats at all, just simply made him available to play there. Which means for all three systems, we need to be able to bring in players which suits every single position. Now, of course, one of these deals is already done for us, and it's one that I'm very excited about, as Matheus Cunha has had the here we go to join Manchester United from Wolves. £62 million. We have put that in here on FM, a transfer to Manchester United for £63 million. So we have done that fully realistic, bringing in Cunha, and I'm excited to see what he can do on FM in a United shirt before we actually see him next season. Which means that looking into the outgoings, there is a lot to do. I do think Casemiro potentially stays at the club in the summer, but also I think there's a very good chance that he leaves if we get money, especially offered from Saudi. So I'm going to list him on the transfer list. Eriksen, of course, is leaving the club. I cannot see Rasmus Højlund staying at the club whatsoever, so he is going to go. Jadon Sancho, we have transferred to Chelsea for £25 million. I'm not sure if that deal is going to happen in real life, but regardless, we'll probably sell him for £25 million. Rashford will come back for his loan spell, as he's not going to Aston Villa, and we'll sell him. Luke Shaw, I think, is done at the club. We'll sell him. Malacia, the same. Bruno, as mentioned, I'm going to loan him out for a season and potentially bring him back next year. Depending actually how well we do this season, we might not even need him. Onana, I think, is done at the club. Bayindir, I think, is done at the club. Lindelof, of course, leaving. Alejandro Garnacho, someone we've not even touched on just yet, is certainly leaving the club. He was told by Ruben Amorim, apparently in a meeting with the players, to get out. I'm not surprised. I say I'm a big Garnacho fan. I used to be a huge Garnacho fan. His ego has just gone through the roof, sadly. And Alejandro, I think he's a top tier talent. I do think he's one of them players, very similar to Scott McTominay. He'll go abroad. He'll absolutely smash it. We'll have memes of saying, why did Man U let this guy go? It's purely because he doesn't work in the system. I said it when Ruben Amorim joined. He is not an inside central attacking midfielder. He is definitely not a wing-back, and this season, especially the second half, I think we have seen quite a greedy side to Alejandro, trying to score too many goals, not set up his teammates. Decision-making seems really poor. And I think if we can go out there and get 60 million for him, that can be reinvested. A straight swap, realistically, Garnacho for Matheus Cunha, I think is a great deal and something that I am very happy with, especially for this system. You can see on the bench, we are keeping the likes of Mazraoui, Maguire, Dalot, Ugarte, Amas, Mason Mount, Tom Heaton around at the club. But there is lots of positions that need improving. And again, I'm not going to go completely crazy on transfers. There is rumours United have just a £100 million budget plus the sales that we are going to get this summer. So I'm going to try and stick to that here on FM. Now, of course, FM transfer values aren't as realistic as they could be. So we'll try and sort of keep it around that figure in real life money. You can see here in the bank, we have got £75 million to spend and loads of money in wage budget. But of course, we are crippled financially in terms of debt and transfer debt. And this is nowhere near as bad as it is probably in real life. 700 million. I think we'd take that debt in real life because it's probably now over 1 billion. Without further ado, it is the most important part of this rebuild. The summer transfer window that is coming up. Ruben Amorim at Sporting Lisbon got rid of 25 players in his first summer, and I think it's time to do that here at United. Right, let's start with the big one. Bruno Fernandes, he's off. He's gone to PSG on that loan deal, like I said, where I'm going to reevaluate things in a year's time for this first season. And we're going to see what Manchester United can do without Bruno Fernandes, as there is still a very high possibility that he could be leaving the club. Past that, let's quick fire through some of these outgoings. Luke Shaw to PSG, Garnacho to Real Madrid, Lindelof to Real Madrid, Malacia to Al Nassr, Sancho to Chelsea, Altobiandir to Real Betis, Bruno Fernandes to PSG, Marcus Rashford to Real Madrid, and Rasmus Højlund leaving the club on a loan deal to Southampton. But people, we are not done there. There is lots of other business to do. Anthony goes to Betis, Casemiro to Newcastle, Onana to Arsenal, and that is the clear out in terms of first team players in the outgoings list complete, where we raised over £180 million. So we have got £280 million to rebuild this United side. I'm going to start off back to front. Number one in goal. I have brought in two goalkeepers to fight for the starting spot. One more experienced, one that's young. And the young guy, as you can see, is Zion Suzuki. This guy was linked to Manchester United when he had his fantastic loan spell over in Belgium, once coming over from Ovara in Japan. He has got 4 caps for the Japanese national team. He is not amazing on FM, I'll be completely honest, but I want to see if a realistic goalkeeper like Zion Suzuki can do things here at United. I also know we have been heavily linked to John Garcia from Espanyol in the last 24 hours, as he's apparently rejected Barcelona. That is news that was not available at the time. And to be honest, on FM, he is diabolical. If you've ever seen him on FM, he never progresses. He doesn't even play for Espanyol, which is a real shame. So someone we really just couldn't bring in. And my other goalkeeper that I've brought in is Vanja Milinkovic-Savic from Torino. Now, this guy actually came into the Manchester United youth system in 2014. He has developed into a 6'8" Serbian goalkeeper who has been seen as a very top-tier keeper in Italy at Torino. Of course, outrageous jumping reach and area reach, great determination, great kicking, and great leadership. And I think this, as a pair, is a fantastic goalkeeper pair. We have got Milinkovic-Savic, who is 27 years of age, kind of knows the club and can deal with the pressure straight away. And then Zion Suzuki, the youngster who hopefully over the next season or two can progress into our starting goalkeeper. So I imagine at some point throughout this first season, we'll transition into Suzuki being our starter. But for now, Vanja is here and he's our number one. Now, defensively, we did not sign a single centre-back. As mentioned, I don't think we need to. So we move on to the right-wing position, where I have brought in Vanderson from AS Monaco. This guy, I think, is one of the perfect wing-backs we could bring in. He's done really well for Monaco in real life this season. He's extremely consistent. He loves big matches. He's quick. He's agile. He can whip a ball into the box, and his ball-playing ability is fantastic. He's 5'11", has that teamwork, has that fitness, grit, and determination that Amorim is looking for in an attacking wing back, and I think is an unbelievable signing for just £21.5 million. I'm not sure how much it cost in real life, but I can't imagine it's much more than 30, 35. So it seems like a very good deal to bring in. And then we move on into the midfield. And my first signing is Boubacar Kamara from Aston Villa. Now, he has been rumoured to want to leave Aston Villa, but stay in the Premier League. Now, there's not been too many links to clubs that he could potentially move to. And I think the allure of Manchester United could get Kamara into this team. His Moneyball data analysis stats are off the charts as a defensive midfielder, and I think it would be an unbelievable signing if we could bring him in. I have spent a fair bit of money on him, 36 million, rising to 38.5. But I think this guy in an Amorim system would work really well. He's big, he's 6 foot tall. He's got decent sort of size and strength about him. He's consistent. He's good fitness, good teamwork, good work rate, mental stats off the charts, and really good defensively. And I think is one of the perfect signings we can make this summer, while also being Premier League proven. And the other guy is Ederson, coming in from Atalanta. Very similar profile to Boubacar Kamara. Great work rate, great physical stats, and fantastic technical stats. Slightly more of the playmaker brought in. Now, I wasn't going to bring in Ederson as well as Kamara without the sale of Bruno Fernandes. I understand we're probably only going to bring in one midfielder, but obviously here I've got rid of Casemiro and Bruno, so I've brought in 2 midfielders to replace them two. Ederson and Kamara, it adds, youth to the side, 24 and 25. adds a lot of height, adds some great ball playing ability and great aggression, and that's something I think we've really missed in the midfield this season. So that's a great midfield duo if we play with them two at the same time. Before we get into the next signing, it is going to be Anton Semenyo. At this point in time, I fully believe that we were a lot more likely to get Semenyo than Brian and Mbeumo. So before you go in the comments, like the first video did, don't hate on me. Apologies, we made the wrong choice. Now, for the second part of this rebuild, where we go on to break loads of records, the deal would have, well, effectively been agreed for Brian and Mbeumo, which it still technically is still being agreed. So we sold Semenyo and brought in Mbeumo for the start of season number 3. So apologies on the slight mishap on this one. And again, probably the same on the Bruno Fernandes deal as well. Probably realised from when we done this video, he was heavily linked to Al Hilal. Now isn't going anywhere. So the first season goes out on loan, but comes back for the second season, just to give you guys a little bit of an update as to what happened there. We then have the other attacking forward that we are going to sign. Now, we have been heavily linked to Brian Mbeumo in recent weeks, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think transfer budget-wise, we are going to get pushed slightly out of that race, and I think the more realistic option is to go and get Anthony Semenyo. I think this guy is brilliant. He would be probably my second choice to Mbeumo. I'll be completely honest. I think Mbeumo is the better player, but he is Premier League proven. He's done really well at Bournemouth this season. He's quick, he's agile, he can finish. And like I said, he's Premier League proven. And it is very sort of highly spoken about this summer that Premier League proven is everything that we are talking about. Mbeumo, Liam Delap, Mateus Cunha, Anthony Semenyo, Elliot Nouri at left wing back, Boubacar Kamara. Premier League proven seems to be the buzzword of Manchester United. I just don't think we're going to get Mbeumo. I would love to get him. I'll be buzzing to get him. But if I'm going fully realistic, I actually think Semenyo is probably the option we will most likely go and get. And my final signing is the striker. And no, I have not gone with Liam Delap or Victor Gyökeres. I think Liam Delap ends up at a Champions League club. Ruben Amorim said in a press conference a couple of weeks ago, anyone that doesn't want to be here, simply down to not being in Europe, does not deserve to be at Manchester United. And I couldn't agree more. The club should be able to bring players in. As for Victor Gyökeres, I don't blame him for wanting Champions League football. He's a top-tier talent. Liam Delap, I think, is probably a couple of seasons away from being a top-tier talent. And it's a minor upgrade on Rasmus Højlund, but that's only the Højlund we've had this season. I think Højlund last season, very similar to Liam Delap this season. So I've gone with a bit more of a proven striker in Matteo Retegui. Now, if you guys know who this guy is, you will understand why I brought him in. This season, I believe in Serie A, he scored 26 goals. He grabbed the golden boot for Atalanta. And yes, it's scary to bring in another striker from Atalanta. I understand it. But this guy ticks every single box for me as the striker Manchester United should be going for. If you've got 5 minutes after this video, or even I would actually let you pause it here and go and watch a clips of this guy. His link-up play, his finishing ability, his aerial ability is off the chart. And I think he would be the perfect striker for Manchester United. He's one of them sorts of strikers which really excel in sort of the Moneyball XG data analysis charts as well. And I just think he's fantastic. I've got a bit of an obsession with Matteo Retegui at the moment. I've known about him since he was having an unbelievable season at Tigre back in 2022. Scored 19 goals in 27 games. I don't think he'd struggle with the aura of playing for Manchester United. He came up through River Plate, moved to Boca. That's like sacrilege in Argentina, and he's got to done it. They got on loan to a bunch of Argentinian sides, and I think he's got that sort of arrogance you need to be a United striker. This season at Atalanta, like I said, was unbelievable. Top goal scorer in the league, and he's just not being spoken about anywhere near as much as I thought he would be. Here on FM, we've signed him for just £20 million, which is a stupidly cheap price. I think he would cost 45 to 50 million. But that extra 15, 20 million to go and get you someone that scored 25 goals in Serie A and to me suits the Amorim play, plays in a free back with Gasperini at Atalanta. It just works for me. I cannot see why this signing is not being spoken about so much more. And that's the man I've gone with to lead the line for United. Which means our transfer business has been wrapped up. And this is your Manchester United side for the 25-26 season. In goal, Zion Suzuki and Milinkovic-Savic. The back three, Euro, De Ligt, Martinez. The wing backs, Dorgu and Vanderson. In midfield, Ederson and Mainu. The cam on the left-hand side, Mateus Cunha. The right winger, Amad Diallo. And Matteo Retegui leading the line. But the best thing is, we have managed to build midfield rotation with youth. Savic in goal. Mazraoui, Maguire and Aiden Haven as our back three. Amas, Dallo, Ugarte, Kamara, Mount, Semenyo and Joshua Zirkzee leading the line as our backup 11. That to me is a 22-man squad that can go and challenge for Champions League football. I think that should be the goal next season. Without European football, you've seen how good it was for a team like Nottingham Forest this season. Obviously, just falling away short at the end. But even Newcastle this season grabbing, I think they got 3rd or 4th in real life, maybe even 5th actually. But got Champions League football because they didn't have that European struggle. And I think for United next season, that's going to be massive. Not playing Thursday, Sunday is going to be huge. And I think we could actually get top 6 next season, and with a squad and a rebuild like this, and one that I think is very realistic. Let me know in the comments down below if you think I've been realistic or not. If I've gone absolute waffle, let me know in the comments down below what changes you would make and my analysis on why I've made these signings. Let me know what you think. I've done that because I think Chido, Mantato and Collier are all going to be able to really help the team this season. The same goes for Harry Amas and Aiden Heaven. I think Tyler Fredrickson, go out and get a year on loan of the Championship and see what you can do. And potentially next year, Aiden Heaven will go out on loan and Tyler Fredrickson will come back in, depending on how the loan spells go and how this season goes. But to me, we have done a fantastic job at rebuilding the whole club in just one summer. The media actually think we've done a pretty good job as well. Down in 6th place, level with Spurs, and Aston Villa ahead of them, which is about the level we should really be aiming for next season. People talk about us now going to compete with City, Liverpool and Arsenal. There's a massive hurdle in front of that. Spurs, Villa, Brighton, Brentford, Bournemouth, Forest need to overtake them first, and then we look to Chelsea, Newcastle, Arsenal, Liverpool and Manchester City. But that is all to come. I've got a full season of FM to play through, and I've not played a full season in a very long time, so I'm very excited to implement this style of play with this Ruben Amorim side. I'm probably going to come back at some certain important moments and speak you through what's happened in the season, show you some highlights, and then hopefully by the end of the season, United will be back in the top 6. Now, to kick the season off, we were at Old Trafford and had a nightmare performance. Mason Mount missed a penalty, star striker Matteo Ortega were injured, and Bruno Guimaraes and Sven Botman scored for Newcastle to beat us 2-0. But we quickly bounced back from that as we faced up against Spurs and we looked to get revenge for the Europa League final. Joshua Zirkzee with a header at the back stick to make it 1-0, and Old Trafford roared in a second goal from that man again, Jay-Z, as Mainu drilled the ball to the box and he was there to tap home. The other results this month include a 2-0 victory over Everton, a 2-0 victory over Port Vale and a 1-1 draw away from home at the Molineux. There is certainly some improvement to be done as we head into the next few months. And the schedule was actually quite nice to us over the next couple of months, other than 2 games against Aston Villa and Chelsea. But Aston Villa we dispatched of, while Chelsea didn't stand a chance. And it was our new look system and new look signings which really put Chelsea to the sword, with Cunha and Retegi linking up to make it 1-0 in 15 minutes. And then you can see the real high press aggression of the system coming in here as Ahmad whips a backstick ball in. It falls to Cunha, the goal scorer, to make it 2-0. And we grabbed the 3rd before half time as well. Again, the high press of the centre backs. Mason Mount finds Ugarte, finds Amad Diallo, who scores a screamer past Jorgensen. Now, Chelsea did grab the last goal in this game as we walked away as 3-1 winners. But I've got to say, a very impressive performance and actually a very impressive start to the whole season. As after that result against Villa, we may have lost to Brentford 2-0, but went then unbeaten with a 3-0 victory against Burnley, a 2-1 against Bournemouth, a draw away from home against Brighton, a victory over Palace, a victory over Burnley again, beating Pompey in the Carabao Cup, and narrowly losing in a 1-0 game to Manchester City at the Etihad thanks to a goal from Erling Haaland. Which means that as things stand, we sit just outside the top 4 on 23 points, but 5 points clear of Newcastle and 6 of Chelsea. We really are competing for the Champions League places, which is exactly where we want to be. We were also in the quarterfinal of the Carabao Cup, but we've got Aston Villa, and my God, it'll be good to get a trophy as well as Champions League qualification next season. Touching on some of the players that have started the season really well, Milinkovic-Savic has played 13 games for us. Suzuki's been really injured this season, in and out loads, so Milinkovic-Savic has taken that starting role and done fantastically as well. Yoro, De Ligt and Martinez has been the main trio Semenyo at centre-back, but it has been rotated with the likes of Harry Maguire, who's played 9, and Aiden Heaven, who's played 3 as well, with a 7.13. Dalot has been in and out rotation-wise. Obviously, Vanderson as Mazraoui being able to play in that role. Ederson and Mainu performing well in midfield. Kamara doing also very well on a 7.09. Patrick Dorgu, though, has been a real standout. 3 assists and 1 goal in 12 games, really taking to that left wing-back position. Mason Mount, 6 goal contributions, exactly what we want to see from the man that Ruben Amorim seems to love so much. Amad Diallo, 2 and 2 with 6.95, and Xerxes with 4 in 7. Now, Rategi is struggling to hit the ground running, 3 goals in 8 games so far, but we do believe he can get back to that top level. Mateus Cunha, 6 goal contributions in 10 starts as well, while Semenyo has just 1 assist in 7 games so far. It is safe to say I am very happy with the signings we made and the progression we are making. And I do also want to touch on the tactics and the save files that you guys will be able to pick up on the Patreon down below. They're all going to be available for £5 per month, and we're also going to do it as a separate one that you can go and buy as a special little bundle for £3. You can get the rebuild file at the start, at the end of this video, and the 3 tactics, all for the £3. Or if you want to help support me monthly, as you guys do over on the Patreon, we have over 2,000 members. You can sign up as a Patreon member over there and help support me for as little as £5 a month, and it helps me out so much with this dream to potentially become full-time on YouTube. I can also say that you guys are smashing it. There is now only 65% of you, rather than 70%, that are not subscribed to the channel, that watch these videos regularly. So hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the Kempi Army, and help us get to 20k subs by FM26. And we're speaking of an army, United Army. We are on a mental charge to attempt to break in to not only the top 4, but the top 2. And Kobbie Mainoo is going to have an Old Trafford masterclass against Liverpool. Now, Gravenberch does equalise things after Mainoo's screamer to kick things off, but we are about to see, like I said, a masterclass from Kobbie. Ugarte finds Dalot down the right-hand side and moving Kobbie into that cam role, but it works fantastically. We've seen this movement in real life, and we're seeing it here now on FM as well, where he's just got that slightly better attacking ability than his defensive, able to break lines, spin players, and score goals, and that's exactly what he done in this game against Liverpool in a convincing 3-1. And that wasn't the only top tier result from last time, as again we are going unbeaten, beating Leeds, drawing to Forest, beating Fulham, beating West Ham, drawing to Sunderland, beating Villa in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup, beating Liverpool, drawing to Arsenal away at the Emirates, beating Everton, and even beating Newcastle at St James's Park, which moves us into 3rd place. Now, the top 2 have run away with the league. City unbeaten on 55, Liverpool losing just 1 on 54, and then us on 44 in 3rd place. But I am very proud of what we have managed to do so far, sitting ahead of Spurs by a singular point, ahead of Arsenal by 5, and ahead of Chelsea by 10 points already, just halfway into the season. And of course, we have set up a semi-final in the Carabao Cup against Arsenal as well, and the final of that we played up against either Liverpool or West Ham. Now, in terms of the January transfer window, we are doing nothing. We don't want to spend any money in January. It's something United have done recently, is not spend too much in January. They seem to be more panic buys, and that's not something I'm going to try and get into today. We've got £75 million in the bank, £1 million in wage budget. I could go wild if we wanted to, but keeping things realistic, we won't be. In terms of the debt and loan, yeah, we're still up at around £700 million, but the overall balance has only dropped about 100 million. Oh, I say that. It's gone down about 200 million since September, which is pretty rough, actually. United just absolutely lose money through the cracks of paper all the time due to the debt repayments, which is very, very sad. I hope that doesn't come back to really cripple us in the future with our finances, but for now, it is what it is. The team is performing very well. We are scoring goals from a whole bunch of different positions, and I think it's safe to say the rebuild has kicked off in a great fashion. But can we now make a final in season number 1? Well, if we wanted to, we'd have to beat Arsenal over 2 legs, which would be difficult as we lost the first leg 1-0 at the Emirates. But the question was, could we turn things around at Old Trafford? And the real reason is yes. We were electric on the counter there. Xerxes playing through Mason Mount to get the game level. And in the 67th minute, Dalot and Mainoo linked up down this left-hand side. Mainoo sets it back into Leacher. Mainoo on the ball once again. And what a strike. Kobbie Mainoo is really coming into his own. alone and have just sent United to a Carabao Cup final, which, by the way, we fully deserve to be in. We have just demolished Arsenal in this game. 14 shots to their 2, but only 44% possession. We have managed to really settle in to be able to play a low block system as well as go out there and counter-attack. We saw that with the first goal. Zirk's winning it back, sitting deep, Mount runs on, and we go and score. And the systems we've created here are working really well. Something I've actually not mentioned just yet as well, which I want to mention before we get into the Carabao Cup, is the captain that we made after Bruno left. I chose Matthias de Ligt. Let me know in the comments down below who you think the captain would be if Bruno Fernandes left. So all of our attention turns to the Carabao Cup final, where we'll be facing up against West Ham as they sneak past Liverpool. And what a ball that is from Dorgu to get us 1-0 up as Retegi finishes home in the 75th minute. West Ham, though, are going to come back. Retegi effectively setting up Mo Kudus as he scores to make it 1-1. Suzuki starting in the Carabao Cup final, but that would no longer matter. 86th minute, Dorgu and Edison linking up the left-hand side. Edison, mazy run, finds Manu Agate. And we've seen him score some screamers this season for United. And we see it once again there as he fires United with a 2-1 victory. And we lift the Carabao Cup, led by captain Matthias de Ligt. In terms of the Premier League campaign, since we last spoke at the start of January, things have been a little bit up and down. We got battered by Spurs 5-1, which hurts after that Europa League final. We just couldn't get into the game whatsoever, and Heung-min Son scored 4. We then faced Wolves and drew 0-0, but turned things around, beating Villa at Villa Park and Amad Diallo brace. Brentford a 3-1 victory, Bournemouth a 1-0 draw, Brighton a 1-0 win, Palace a 1-0 draw. You can see them games against them sorts of teams are very tight, but we are coming out on top in the big ones, beating Burnley 2-0 before losing to Chelsea 3-2 at Stamford Bridge. Which means they claw a point closer. We are on 59 points. They are on 50. A 9-point gap down to Arsenal in 5th place and Chelsea in 6th place. I think it's safe to say top 4 is potentially secured already. It's really just a battle for 3rd place as Liverpool look to have demolished the league on 81 points. We're just trying to see if we can pip Spurs not to a Europa League final, but to a Champions League spot. And to touch on the FA Cup as well, we lost to Crystal Palace in a second leg 1-0, which is a real shame in the third leg. But the question is, could we secure top 4 football before the end of the season? We draw 2-2 against Manchester City, a 94th minute goal from Amad Diallo. We then beat Leeds 2-0, beat Forest 2-0, beat Fulham 4-1, West Ham 2-0, Sunderland 3-1, drew to Liverpool 0-0 and beat Arsenal on the final day 1-0, which secured our spots in 3rd place in the Premier League on 79 points, a 28 goal difference, 23 wins, 10 draws and 5 losses, pipping Spurs by 5 points. That, I believe, is a 37-point difference to this season. I believe we finished on 42, so maths would be correct if we finished on 42. A 37-point difference in just one summer. I remember the transfer window we went through, losing £107 million of players there, £75 million there, completely changing the culture of this club to bring in players that want to fight for the badge, that want to play Ruben Amorim's system with intensity, with passion and hard work. And that is something that we have done here in this season. And I'm very proud of the rebuild we have just been on. Now, of course, this is just one season. There is a lot longer to go to make Manchester United a Champions League and Premier League winning season. But I feel like my job is kind of done after just one season, but I don't want to just release a one season rebuild. So I'm going to play through an entire second season as well and see that even with Champions League football, which we have next season, can we retain a Champions League place? And I would be very happy with that. That would leave me in a very good place to then go on and do a separate video of trying to break every single record. Would have done a very good, realistic job over 2 seasons. So obviously subscribe to the channel so you are seeing the real finale of this big United rebuild. We're obviously doing just 2 seasons today, playing every single game, going more in depth, and then we'll zoom forward to making United what we used to be. Treble winners and all that good stuff. Hopefully we can do that for you in the next video. 79 points though, very impressive, very happy with that. Looking into the signings and the goal scorers we've got, Retegi 15 goals, 0 assists. This is a decent season. It's not groundbreaking though. I'm not sure what we're going to do. I'm not sure if we're going to bring in someone else or if we could try and go, I mean, I'm going to be fully realistic for season 2 as well. I don't want to just go out now and get Gyökeres or whatever. If we sign Retegui, he's probably going to be our striker for the future. I want to see a bit more from him next season. And that's something that I think could happen. 15 goals is nothing to snub your nose at. Would have taken that this season. Bruno on loan at PSG, 11 goals and 23 assists. I'm still not sure if I'm going to bring him back or not for season 2 yet. I will let you guys know what we do for that. Amad Diallo, 15 goal contributions, which is brilliant. Joshua Zirkzee, 9 goals and 4 assists. Cunha, 7 and 5. Mainu, 5 and 6. Semenyo, 5 and 3. Mount, 5 and 7. Kamara, 3 and 4. De Ligt, 3 goals. Dorgu, 9 assists from that left wing back position. I think what we're really seeing here is the system isn't breeding a superstar goal scorer. And that's okay because players are chipping in. The thing we've had with United this season is not having a number 9 scoring 15 goals like Retegui, but then also just leaving things down to Bruno Fernandes to go and get 40 odd goal contributions this season. Whereas here we've got Cunha, Mainu, Mount, Semenyo, Zirkzee, Amad, all getting more than 5 goals. And well, that's not crazy. Without European football, that's not too bad at all. And I'm actually very happy. In terms of the youngsters this season, Cheeto played 2 games for us. Didn't perform too well, played one off the bench, but done really well in the under 17s. Under 17s, under 21s. I think we'll send him out on loan next season and see if he can go and destroy in like League One or the Championship. Tyler Fredrickson, 28 games out on loan. Really impressive. At West Brom as well in the Championship to play 25 games at the start is really good. We're going to see what we're going to do with him next season. I might bring him back into the first team fold and see if we can move some players on. Aiden Heaven, 9 starts for us this season, a 6.94. Impressive like he is in real life, which is great. I think we're probably going to loan him out and bring Fredrickson in as he's just 18. I think that's going to be something really good for his development. The same goes for Mantato. 5 starts this season, 2 off the bench, progressing really well as that right winger. Can play left wing back, can play right wing back. Loan spell for him seems almost certain. Looking to Harry Amass, 7 starts, 1 goal, a 7 average rating. Really, really good. But I do think we're going to loan him out and potentially bring someone in to rotate with Dorgu next season. Suzuki, 23 games for him, a 6.99. Next season, I think he'll be our starting number 1. And that's not because Milinkovic Savic done bad. A 7.02 in 24 games. Exactly what we wanted from him this season. Because he just 20 goals, really well-rounded, and just an assured pair of hands. In terms of the data hub this season, scoring an average 1.55 goals per game, conceding just 0.82. And looking into the Premier League stats as well, we were 6th place in top goal scorers with 59 and in 5th place in conceded with 31. Conceding just 31 goals is very impressive in this first season. Possession-wise, we keep 52% possession of the ball, which is really good. And something that I want to check as well, which I don't actually know how we sit on this list, is salary per annum. We have dropped us down to 6th place. We have done a massive clear out in terms of wages, and we've been very clever in what we spend. We are behind Spurs, 60 million behind Arsenal, way behind Liverpool, Chelsea and City. Now down the likes of Newcastle, Villa and Spurs, which is really good. This is where United need to get to secure ourselves financially for the future. Clear out a lot of the high wages, clear out a lot of the dead wood, and hopefully we can get back to being back at the top. I think now, though, it's time for season number 2. We're going to slightly rebuild this squad. 2 or 3 signings, if that, to be honest. Bring in maybe some young players and see what we do with Bruno Fernandes. So first up with Bruno, I have decided he is going to be staying at the club for this season. So we get the best of both worlds. We had him without the season, rebuilt the squad using the money of Bruno Fernandes, and then we've got him back because we only loaned him out. And to be honest, I think we've done very well price-wise anyway without the money of Bruno. If I'm completely honest, I just went back to the point where I'd done all the transfers and then brought in Edison rather than just redoing all the transfers that I'd done and sold Bruno. So what I've now done is just got him back in after his loan spell at PSG, and he's back to being a United player, which is absolutely fantastic for us. Apologies if you didn't want that in the video. I don't think he's leaving now, to be honest. Obviously, at the time of doing the poll, it looked almost certain that he was going to leave. I was prepared to see him cry on the pitch at Old Trafford. Now, after giving that penalty to Eriksen, I think that's a very symbolic moment of him saying, look, I'm staying, Eriksen, you're going, you take the penalty, so I've brought him back into the fold. Which means I have moved on a couple of players that we did buy to try and replace him. So number 1 is Boubacar Kamara. Last season he was very good, we spent 36 million on him, he got a 7.04, but we've got too many options if we keep Bruno. So I've sold him out to PSG, funny enough, for 35.5. And I've also sold Antoine Semenyo to Al Nassr for £25 million. We spent 23 on him, he was decent as a rotational option, but again, We very much brought both of them players in to try and cover what Bruno gives us, so we've just moved on from them. The only other major sale was Rasmus Højlund to relegated Sunderland back down to the Championship for £76 million. Now, Højlund absolutely cooked at Southampton in the Championship. 76 million? No idea how Sunderland have got that money and why on earth they've spent it on Rasmus Højlund, but we'll certainly take it. Don't worry, I'm not going to go out now and spend all that money, but it will do a lot in terms of, replacing the debt we've got. And to be honest, I only made 3 signings. Number 1 was an attacking player who could play in the cam roles and kind of replace what Semenyo was doing, but also someone that could play in striker. First one, Kenyan Yildiz, signed from Juventus. This guy has been linked to Manchester United recently. I have seen a lot of links, and I think it's kind of Juventus are interested in Retegi, and Yildiz plays up front for them, or in cam, or in left wing, and he could be used as a make weight to actually move, and they get Retegi and we get Yildiz, or Yildiz goes somewhere. And I brought him in here, United. £30 million. He didn't play too much last season for Juventus as a starter, only 4 games, 18 off the bench. But I love this guy in real life. I think he's fantastic, a top tier talent. He's got a good height at 6'1", and he gives me very similar Josh Zirkzee vibes. If you actually look into the stats and what he brings, flair, determination, passing, technique, decent finishing, good dribbling, 6'1", decent speed, very consistent. I think it's a fantastic signing, and he can play in 3 of the roles we've got, which is great. Next up is a right-sided centre-back, and we have signed Alexander Pentea. This guy can play at right-back and right-sided centre-back, which is perfect. He's got good speed, he's 6 foot tall, he's very consistent, he loves big matches, he's just 23 and amazing defensively, really good leadership as well, and I think that's something this young United team needs. Leadership going into the next phase. £38.5 million, signed from AZ Alkmaar. It's the right kind of price for a Dutch league centre-back. I think we've got an absolute bargain, and already he's worth £80 million, and I think he's fantastic. And my final signing is Rayan Ait-Nouri, who is going to rotate with Patrick Dorgu in that wing-back on attack role. There is kind of murmurings that he's going to leave Wolves, and there's interest from City, there's interest from us, there's interest from a bunch of teams, and I can see why. This guy is one of the best data left wing backs in the Premier League. Great consistency, just 24 years of age, good speed, good flair, great crossing ability, and really good defensively. And I really, really like him. And that is our 3 signings for this summer. Like I said, I didn't want to go wild. I wanted to keep it very, very simple. So that's all we've done. The team now looks like so. Suzuki, Pintrella, De Ligt, and Yoro is our new starting back 3. Vanderson and Dorgu as our 2 wing backs. Dorgu, of course, rotating by Nori. Bruno and Agate back in that DM position together with Ahmad, Mateus Cunha, and Retegi up front. On the bench, we've got Milinkovic-Savic, Mazraoui, Tyler Fredrickson back in the fold. Licha, Dallo, Edison, Mainu, Rayan Ait-Nouri, Mount, Yildiz, and Zirkzee. Now, I've loaned out Toby Collier. He's gone to Preston in League One, where hopefully he's going to get some valid experience. Harry Amas also out on loan, this time to Wigan, where hopefully he gets lots of experience. Right now, Aidan Heaven isn't out on loan, but I am happy to tell you he goes out on loan to Watford, where he is going to get a bunch of games in the Premier League, which is amazing for his development. If you guys don't know, I play these saves on my Steam Deck and then upload them to the cloud, and then I commentate over them. If you get a bit confused of how I know things in the future, that's why. I played every game on my Steam Deck. In fact, we can go through and look at our actual manager history, wherever it is. 61% win percentage, 47 games, 29-1, 75-4, 36 against. If you holiday, you don't get these kind of stats. So again, just proof that I've played every single game. Not that I felt like I really needed to prove that, but if you guys wondered how I knew what was going to happen in the future, that is how. I play on my Steam Deck, I then upload them to a drive, download them all, and do a YouTube video on them on my PC. Cheeto has gone out on loan to Wigan in League One. Again, much needed experience at a good level as well. He's currently a League 2 player. They are playing League One. I think he's going to do really well there. At 6'2", he's got the build for that level. And Bentito Mantato going on loan to Wickham, I believe also in League One. They are indeed. I think it's a great move for him. Attacking wing back, attacking right winger as well. Can play literally anywhere. I think he'll get lots and lots of games there. So our young players going out on loan. Obviously, we are now into Europe, so we need to look a bit more at seeing what we can do in the Champions League and keeping ourselves up in the Premier League. I think it's obvious to see we've built a very good starting team, but also our backups. If we just go through here and input players into different positions, you can see the quality doesn't drop too much. We've got a really strong 11 and a really strong backup 11 as well, which is absolutely massive because it's something that United just don't have in real life. I mean, look at that for a team. That is a very good rotational side and one that we're very, very happy to have at the club. In terms of our finances, we didn't spend too much money. The debt's come down £200 million. The actual bank balance is 159. If we wanted to, we could go and spend £170 million for £1 million in wage budget, but with PSR and stuff and trying to be realistic, we're not going to do that. We're, of course, in the Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Premier League. This season's going to be tough. This is going to be the last season of this little mini rebuilding United video before I do a full one in a week or two's time, which will, of course, be carried on from this video, where we're going to look to try and break all the records with United. If you're not saying them rebuilds, they are fantastic. The media predicts that we are now better than Spurs, Newcastle and Villa by quite some distance. We are on the tail of Chelsea and trying to catch Arsenal, Liverpool and City. So let's see how we do this year. And I'm very happy to report that we have started this season off really well. We drew the first game away against Newcastle 0-0, which is a fantastic result before seeing Retegi's link-up play with Koimenu to get us, to be fair, a goal back against Liverpool. We skipped the first 2 goals, we go 2-0 down, but we are going to get back into this game. Manu scores, then sets up Mateus Cunha with that attacking midfield run, and we win the game against Liverpool with Bruno Fernandes corner headed in at the back stick by superstar Lenny Yoro. Apologies, it wasn't Newcastle we drew to, it was Chelsea, a 0-0 draw, of course then beating Liverpool and then beating Leicester 1-0 thanks to another goal from Koimenu, who by the way isn't like outstanding at finishing or anything, but playing at that attacking midfielder role suits him so much and he scores so many goals there. 2 goals and assist already in 2 games and 1 off the bench. So this season could be amazing for Kobe. And we are going to zoom on right here to the middle of November because, to be honest, we are playing some outstanding football. Dorgu sets it back to Edison, a wonder goal into the top corner to give us a 1-0 lead against Brentford here at Old Trafford. Agate and Edison showing that passion, that pride in midfield, eventually setting up Amad Diallo for a second goal in this game and a third coming in the first half as well. More high press, Dallo making Brentford pay for their mistakes, slotting it through to Amad for a wonder goal. We grabbed a 4th in this game as Dallo drives down the right hand side and whips it in for Cunha to head home at the back stick, and we grab a 5th as well in a very convincing 5-2 victory at home to Brentford. Dorgu and Manu linking up, eventually finding Cunha again. What a spin, what a strike. This guy this season has really come into his own and we are buzzing with how we are progressing as a club because, to be honest, a lot of our players are scoring a lot of goals. Mateus Cunha already has 5 goals in 9 games. Kenyan Yildiz, who have not seen score yet, has actually scored 6 and got 4 assists in just 7 Premier League games and 11 games in total. And Amad Diallo has 4 goals and 2 assists and is progressing into one of the best players in the world. The one thing that is disappointing me is Retegi with just 2 goals and Jay-Z with just 2 goals. So it does look like Yildiz might become our starting striker, which is very exciting. A very cool player to have leading the line for this Manchester United side. If we pick this by our best 11, it puts Xerxes up there. But based on his goals this season, I think it has to be Yildiz in that striker position. But you can see how much we're struggling to get some players in here. Manu has to play. He's been brilliant. Bruno, to be honest, hasn't been that good. So I think actually you probably have Mateus Cunha in this role, mainly in midfield, and this is probably our best 11, and Bruno actually kind of drops into a rotational player, which is interesting. So with the rebuild we've done, we might end up seeing Bruno go next season anyway. Zion Suzuki has got 15 games at 7.03 as well, which is brilliant. Dallo doing really well, rotating in there with Vanderson and with Mazraoui, which is great to see. And overall, we're just doing a fantastic job. In the Champions League, we are sitting in 6th place currently. 3 victories against Atletico Madrid, Stuttgart and Copenhagen, drawing away from home at Juventus and Liverpool, showing how far we've come. And the Premier League, we are keeping tabs with Manchester City. They are top of the league on 34. We are second with 31, with Bournemouth and Liverpool close behind on 30. Now, we carried on that great form after that resounding victory over Brentford, beating Watford, Nottingham Forest, Spurs, Bournemouth, drawing to PSG. We then lost a couple of games in December, one to Palace and one to Arsenal. But we did beat Manchester City, which gives us a chance at keeping tabs of them. We draw away from home against Liverpool, which is a really good result, and a draw like that keeps us in the title race. But it's actually Bournemouth, which are joint on points with Manchester City. No idea how they've done that. They must just be doing really well. They are managed by Julian Nagelsmann, which is interesting. Tactics-wise, they are using a 4-2-3-1. Neto, Aaron, Zabani, Senesi, Kirkes, Adams, Cook, Brooks, Cook, Cliver and Evan Nielsen. So not changed a single thing in their side, but second in the league. So fair enough to Bournemouth. We are, of course, trying to challenge them for that top spot. Liverpool in third, us in fourth, level with Spurs, who have a game in hand as well, to be honest. So could drop down into fifth place, but given we've got Champions League football as well, that's pretty good. Kylian Yildiz is in the top goal scorers charts, Ait Nouri in the top average rating charts, and Zion Suzuki top of the clean sheets. So all things considered, things are going really well. Goal scorers, we are the top 3, and conceded, we are joint third with Bournemouth. So we have really changed this Manchester United side to be so much better. We are even in a place right now where it is the African Cup of Nations, where we lose a few players. We lose the likes of, where are we? I've lost them. Ait Nouri and Amad Diallo, which is a real shame. So when we actually have to look into things, our bench gets depleted a little bit. And this is the current best team. And things are just going so well. I'm so happy with the players we've brought in. Yildiz at a 7.26 is performing so well. 14 goals and 5 assists. What a signing he's turned out to be. Sadly, not too many more goals from Retegui or Joe Xerxes. So maybe next summer, that's a big place to upgrade. And we go out there and get a super striker. Or we trust Yildiz to get that role. We probably might sell Bruno Fernandes and use Cunha in there. And of course, Amad Diallo stays in that right wing position. And this could be the attack for the future of Manchester United. But things certainly going very well. Let's see for the second half of the season what we can do. Now, last season, of course, there was a trophy lifted, the Carabao Cup, and really we did not want to see regression in this second season and not lifting a trophy. So you join me here in the semi-finals against Crystal Palace, a great opening goal from Joshua Xerxes, and a second as Bruno Fernandes shows that quality finally for us in this rebuild, in this season, in a game with a great finish. Amad finds Lenny Yoro, who's become a bit of a corner demon, to make it 3. Leacher then drives forward, a ball through to Cunha, out wide to Dorgu. Lovely football, setting it back into Cunha for 3 or 4-0 in this game. And a 5th coming as well as Kenyan Yildiz beats his man, drives down that right-hand side with all 6'1" of him. Unbelievable pace given the size, and a ball in for Cunha to make it 5-0. Palace did grab a late goal to get it to 5-1, but in the 82nd minute, that wasn't going to mean too much, which means we are in a final this season against West Ham. Well, despite not turning up all season, Matteo Retegui gets the one and only goal in a 1-0 victory to give Manchester United another FA Cup to add to the trophy cabinet. So that is 2 trophies in 2 seasons and a very successful season this year. Because despite falling off of the title race, we managed to secure 4th place this season. Now, disappointing second half of the year, to be honest. As we were 3 points behind City with 16 games to go, we finished it 17 points away from them, showing that maybe some squad depth needs to be improved and a few players needs to be moved on, and we get a little bit better next season, which of course will be in that record-breaking Manchester United rebuild coming very shortly. But beating Spurs, beating Bournemouth to that Champions League 4th place spot is great to see, and eventually we are going to be challenging for that top 2. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that we will get there. We were joint top in clean sheets with Suzuki, so I really do think we've got our goalkeeper of the future. Despite saying 2.5 star in recent and current ability, this guy's really good, and I'm very impressed with how well he has sort of come into Premier League football. Back-to-back seasons now, really impressing for us. Overall, in terms of the stats, 5th place in goals, so probably a place to be improved is that striker position. Identifying someone to replace Xerxes and Retegui will be necessary. In terms of goals conceded, though, defensively, we are doing fantastically well. In terms of the tactic, obviously we have developed these tactics over time, and I'm in love with all 3. It has been so fun to rotate between the 3 of them. If you guys are going to use these and download them, I would recommend the wide right one is slightly better. for majority of games. For games you are sort of struggling with, use this box midfield one. It works really well and teams really struggle to break you down. Our defensive record has been really good this season. We had multiple games this season, which I think last year, or I mean in other FM rebuilds I've done, we would have conceded a bunch of goals, like Newcastle away from home, a 0-0, Liverpool at Anfield 0-0, beating Leeds and West Ham at home, beating Brentford at home, well, away from home 2-0, Spurs 2-0, Bournemouth 3-0, Palace 2-0. We were just really good defensively and we managed to blow teams away as well. So a really successful season on the domestic front. But what about the European side of things? For the round of 16, we faced up against RB Leipzig and over 2 legs beat them 2-1 before facing Spurs and battering them 5-1 in the second leg, which feels like redemption for the Europa League final. De Ligt, Xerxes, Amad, Cunha and Bruno Fernandes putting 5 past them, and Spurs, well, you might win the Europa League. We've got a chance here to win the Champions League. But first, we've got to get past Barcelona, where we were facing them at the Nou Camp to kick things off, which makes this even more ridiculous. Amad finds Leny Yoro to give us an early lead in just 12 minutes. But Barcelona, filled with their youthful talent, were going to come back in this game potentially, or were we going to dominate them? Dorgu sticks it in the back of the net for 2-0. But, like I said, Barcelona, a very good side. Olmo whips it in, backstick, Ronaldo Araujo, 2-1. The next goal was going to be key, and it was going to come for us. Amad found Leny Yoro once again. Like I said, a front post corner demon, and a quick counter sees Amad find Diego Dalot on the right-hand side, beats his man, drills it in, and it falls to Cunha for 4-1. How does 5 sound at the Nou Camp? That sounds fantastic to me, as Kenyan Yildiz whips it in, comes back out to him on the left-hand side, finds Mainu, back to Yildiz, into Martinez, and eventually into the back of the net. A 5-1 victory and a 0-0 at Old Trafford sends us to the Champions League final against Real Madrid, where sadly Jude Bellingham broke our hearts with an unbelievable free kick and we lose 1-0 in the Champions League final. Which means that while we have won 2 domestic competitions, we are a double top 4 side, but the big ones slightly elude us. In the big rebuild, we'll of course be attempting to win the Premier League and win the Champions League, but I think it is very fair to say we have successfully fixed Manchester United. We have turned things around at the club, and with things that seem so rotten and so bad, we have managed to turn this club around. Out on loan this season, Chido, 20 goals, certainly ready for the first team next year. Yildiz, 19-8, Cunha, 16-5, Xerxes eventually grabbing 14 goals compared to Retegi with just 3, so I think we know who's going to stay at the club next year. Amad Diallo, now a 4.5-star player, 29 goal contributions. Bruno Fernandes, 19, Yoro with 10, Dorgu with 16, Mount with 10, Kobe with 13, and Ryan Aït-Nouri also with 12 assists. What a rebuild we've done here. What a job we have done here. Full realism, getting Manchester United back into a stable state of being a European challenger. An FA Cup and a Carabao Cup is in the bag. But next time out, we go for domination, not only of England, but of the world, as we look to break every single record with Manchester United. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep your eye out for that one. And I'll speak to you next time. Okay, so Manchester United are one of the biggest clubs in football history, but today we are taking on a mental challenge of beating 8 insane club records. These range from unbeaten runs to most goals scored in a single season by a player, and we are going to have to do this in the side that we have started already, where we have rebuilt Manchester United in full realism and got them to be in a consistent top 4 side again. But now we are taking that team to the next level, to treble winners, to back-to-back Premier League winners and record breakers. So grab some popcorn, because this one is going to be an absolute banger. And if you haven't seen the first part of this video, there is a 2-season episode where we rebuilt Manchester United in full realism. So go and check that out and then come back to this. Now, of course, Manchester United are one of the biggest clubs in terms of their trophy haul, but today we are looking to take this to the next level in terms of looking at their records, and we've got 8 club records that we are looking to break. Kicking things off, most points in a single season for United is 92. Second up is most wins in a single season for United is 28. Fewest defeats in a single season is 3. Longest unbeaten run across all competitions is 45. Most goals in a single season is 103. 3. Fewest goals conceded in a single season is 22. The biggest ever win is a 10-0 victory, and the most goals by a singular player in a league season is 32. And in today's video, we have to break every single one of them records before the video ends. So by the end of it, we should be the biggest and best club in the world, making attacking tactics, making tactics which get the best out of a goal scorer, and defensive tactics, all with this current Manchester United side. Now, if you want up to date on how things went last time out, we finished third in the Premier League, 79 points just behind Manchester City and Liverpool, and we have created some fantastic tactics. We have got a standard Amorim tactic with the right winger, the attacking midfielder, and the advanced forward. We have got the box Amorim tactic with the 2 cams and 2 midfielders, and then we have got the attacking wing back on the right with the winger on the left hand side. These are all available to download on the Patreon in the shop. If you want to head to the link down in the description, head to the shop. £3 gets you access to all these tactics and the rebuild files we used to get this Manchester United team to where it is today, and that includes making some of the youngsters really good. For example, Chido Obi Martin, now 2 seasons in, is 18 years of age and is ready for first team football. Or even the likes of Bentito Mantato, who's progressed into a really good right winger, and this season is going to go out on loan in the Championship. But the first thing we need to touch on this season is the transfers that I have brought in to kick off this video, and I've gone with Bryan Mbeumo. There was a lot of comments in the first video of, oh my god, we chose Semenyo over Mbeumo. I completely agree. My logic was wrong. I thought Semenyo was going to be about 35, 40 million, and Mbeumo 60. It looks like Mbeumo could be 60 million, but Semenyo is the same. And in the last couple of days, Mbeumo has chosen to join Manchester United, which is a huge dub. I'm very excited to get him in, and he's going to be a big part of this rebuild. We've spent £69 million to bring him in here on Football Manager, but he looks absolutely insane. United fans, let me know in the comments down below, how excited are you for Cunha and Mbeumo? And I actually don't even mind Josh Zirkzee, but another striker in that position. Let me know your thoughts on that front three. My next signing was a midfielder to bring in, and I brought in Javi Guerrera from Valencia, as we were looking to add a bit of height, a bit of strength, and a bit of athleticism into the midfield with Guerrera. And that's partly because this season we have said goodbye to Bruno Fernandes. As mentioned, we are 2 years into the future, and Bruno has now got his move to Al Ahly. In the rebuild, we had 1 season where he stayed at the club, 1 season went on loan and come back to the club, and it's turned out he's staying in real life, which is amazing. So we've done that perfectly in the video, and what an absolute legend he is. But for the rest of this rebuild, see you later, Bruno Fernandes. And the striker that I chose to come into United was Matteo Retegui, and I've also moved on from him, sending him to Girona. So my final signing for this summer was a right wing back in Martin Fernandes, coming in from FC Porto. Very strong Diogo Dalot vibes, 20 years of age, top tier potential, really good at whipping the ball in, good defensively, good determination, and good speed. But you're probably wondering, what is the best team? This is the best team, and this is the team that we have got so far. It is Zion Suzuki in goal for Manchester United, a back three of Alexandre Peña, De Ligt, and Lenny Yoro, who has progressed into an absolute demon. At left wing back, we have Patrick Dorgu, right wing back, Amad Diallo. In DM, Ugarte and Herrera are going to link up in this position, and that is a really strong midfield. In that right cam role, Bryan Mbeumo, left cam role, Matheus Cunha, and up front, we have still got Josh Zirkzee. Now, the backup 11 isn't bad at all, and again, there's a lot of different names in here. In goal, backup goalkeeper Vanja Milinkovic-Savic. Back three, Mazraoui, Martinez, and Aiden Heaven, who's progressed into a pretty decent Premier League defender. Nori is our backup left back, Dalot our backup right back, Edison and Mainu in the midfield as our rotation options. Really strong midfield. We've also got Martin Fernandes, of course, who backups in this right back role. I've stuck him in there to show him as the backup. Kenyan Yildiz is our backup left winger / cam, and Chido Obi is the super backup striker. We've also got a lot of youngsters that have gone out on loan, like Mantato, Jack Fletcher, Harry Yamas, Jared Cullen, Stephen Heron, Tyler Fredrickson, and Toby Collier, and hopefully some of them are going to come back into the fold as we progress through this rebuild. Financially, as things stand, we've got about £200 million in the bank. In debt, which isn't too bad. We started off about 800 just 2.5 seasons in. We've done a very good job at clearing out the club and really dropping the wage bill as well. You can see from our transfers in terms of outgoings, 52 million there, 220 there, 124 there, and 75 there. We've spent 450 million pounds over 3 seasons, but brought in about the same, and we've completely revamped the squad, and I think the squad we've got is absolutely top tier. I think we've actually got one of the best squads we've ever built on Football Manager, and I'm very excited to see how this does. Now, of course, from here, we are effectively to start off trying to get United to just be Premier League winners, back-to-back Premier League winners, and to being the best side in the Prem. Because until we do that, we can't really set ourselves up to go and break records. We need to become the best team in the league, first of all. So let's get right into that and turn this United side to the best in the Prem. If you guys are liking the video, make sure you're smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel and help us get to 20k by FM26. Which, as you can see, is not going to be easy. We are still attempting to use the Amorim tactics to get United to being first, and we will be doing that until we win the Premier League. With Amorim's tactics, we will win the Premier League at some point, but it's not going to be this season. We've actually had a pretty bad season, to be honest, on 66 points, quite some way off the top three, Arsenal, City and Liverpool, which is a shame because I thought we'd cemented ourselves in that position. Champions League, rubbish. FA Cup, rubbish. Carabao Cup, rubbish. Which is a real shame. Looking into the schedule, just a really bad end to the season. We had quite a good middle. Beating Doncaster 9-0 after drawing to them 2-2 is hilarious. And actually a pretty decent start to the season as well. It was really just the end here, losing to Villa, Fulham, drawing to Sheffield United, drawing to Leicester, losing to Brighton, losing to Bournemouth, Wolves, and then City and Arsenal. It's a really poor end to the season. But one person that is certainly impressing me this year is Joshua Zirkzee. I have constantly sat here and attempted to replace Zirkzee, and it's probably something that I will carry on trying to do. But Zirkzee has proved to me this season, and time again, pretty much throughout this rebuild, he could be the striker for Manchester United. And a front three, like I said earlier, of Cunha, Mbeumo, and Zirkzee is very exciting if we manage to get that to happen. So who knows? We could be looking into the future. He scored 18 goals and got 3 assists in 34 games this season, which is pretty decent, and was the top goal scorer for us this year. Matheus Cunha grabbed 17 and 8, and Amad Diallo grabbed 12 and 6. And Mbeumo was more of a rotational player for us, which was a bit odd. 6 goals and 5 assists, 19 starts, 22 off the bench. Still a very decent performance. And 8 Nouri as that rotational left back as well. 11 assists. Koimenu has been a rotation pretty much this whole rebuild so far. But 22 starts, 22 off the bench, 14 goal contributions. We cannot snub our nose up at that in the slightest. Chido didn't play too many games, but he was available to play in the under-21s. So I think next season we'll potentially send him out on loan. And like I said, I'll try and go for another striker to compete with Jay-Z in the middle, which is going to be difficult because he's so good. Kenan Yildiz as well was someone that throughout this video, in the last couple of seasons we've had him, has been brilliant. 11 goals, 4 assists in 10 games. This is actually a signing I can really see Manchester United making. I believe Juventus are potentially interested in Rasmus Højlund and a few players as well, and would be really good in this striker role. Very similar build to Zirkzee, 6'1", really good technical ability, and I'm a huge fan of his, and if he was to come to United, I'll be absolutely buzzing. So something to keep an eye on. In goal, Zion Suzuki, well, he's only a 2.5 star. He performs really well in the match engine and has been really good for us in this rebuild. And Manu Agate as well, someone that there's certainly question marks over in real life, but here in FM, he's been performing so well. And as that ratty defensive midfielder, is basically becoming our new Ander Herrera. But we need to progress ourselves to becoming that star team. So the brand new striker I have signed for 71 million is Victor Boniface, a Nigerian finally coming in to be the striker for United. I feel like the links with Osimhen have lasted forever. He's got a bit too old now, 2027, and Boniface is the new man on the block, and he is fantastic and suits the system really well. His passing is decent at 12, but he's 6'3", pace, power and finishing ability with good consistency and joy for big matches. For me, this is an absolutely great deal. And this season, I have decided to attempt to improve on Zion Suzuki and bring in Dennis Seaman. He was available for just 14 million pounds after Stuttgart got relegated, where he's only conceded 66 goals in 64 games. And that fee for a keeper of this quality with that potential, we just couldn't really look any further. He's 6'4", area reach and jumping reach is amazing. One-on-ones, reflexes, amazing and decent at passing and elite consistency. I mean, he just is going to be the goalkeeper for the rest of this rebuild. And my final signing is a young one for the future in Enzo Stenau, coming in from RSC Anderlecht. A 6-foot player, again, very similar to the Zirkzee, Kenan Yildiz build. 6 foot tall, consistent, great flair, good finishing, good composure, and amazing link-up ability. But he doesn't obviously come straight in to this first team. The first team, in fact, is looking a little bit like so. We've got Dennis Seaman in goal, Pentrea, Delict, and Euro as the back three still, Dallo, Dorgu, Guerrera, Agate. None of that has changed other than Seaman. And to be fair, none of the other starting positions have changed. Cunha, Ahmad, and Xerxes. Of course, we have got Victor Boniface at the club, ready to try that striker position. Brian Mbuemo, we are training to be a central attacking midfielder, so he gets more game time there. That was an oversight on my behalf. So we'll see if he grows. Of course, Ahmad can play in this right wing back role as well. We have trained him there throughout this rebuild. Chido is still here, but is up for list on the loan list, and is wanted by a few clubs. So maybe we'll see him go out on loan as well. Tyler Fredrickson has come back into the fold this season. Had a few really good loan spells at West Brom and Southampton last season. A 7 average rating, 37 games in the Championship. And he's grown really well. And I want to just see if he can become just a rotational centre-back for us, because that would just be awesome if he can stick around and do that. While we're probably going to look to loan out Aiden Heaven, wherever he has gone on this list. There he is. He is on the loan list. I just think Fredrickson's developed past him, and we now have to send out Heaven to see if he can grow to that level as well. But for now, the media predict us to be the 4th best team, with that clear front three in Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester City, but us in 4th place, ahead of Spurs, Chelsea, Newcastle, Villa. I'm hoping this season we can put something together and really make a run for the Premier League title, and at least we have to be able to win a trophy this year. But the Premier League title was a no-go, as we actually finish in 6th place, but only 2 points behind City, and then Bournemouth, who finished in 4th, Liverpool in 3rd, Arsenal in 2nd, and Spurs on top. Is a 12-point difference from 6th to top, which is absolutely mental. And sadly, we lost in the FA Cup semi-finals as well. We're losing to Brentford. We were effectively the home team and lost 3-1. They went on to lose to Arsenal in the final. That seems like a big opportunity missed to win a trophy. So it came down to the Champions League if we wanted to win a trophy this season. And we finished in 5th place in the league phase. But Spurs, who had just won the Premier League, finished on top on 22 points. Ange is still in charge, and this is their current side. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what they've got going on, but they are an absolute menace in this Football Manager save. In the round of 16, we faced up against PSG, and both legs we won the game 1-0. This one thanks to an Mbuemo header. However, this one was much more difficult, as we just about scraped through against RB Leipzig. We nearly bottled it, a 95th minute penalty missed by Mason Mount, but then an 120th minute own goal sends us into the semi-finals. That is some extreme luck. But we then faced Bayern Munich, and in the first leg, it was a 3-2 loss at Old Trafford. So when we went away from home, I really wasn't expecting much. But Victor Boniface scored to make the game 1-0, and in the 82nd minute, Mazraoui found Brian Mbuemo to go on an amazing run and finish home with that left foot, something I hope we see a lot for United in the future, to give us the win. And the win in the tie, and sends us to the final against this ridiculous Spurs side. But luckily enough for us, we won the game 1-0 in extra time. A goal from Victor Boniface to give Manchester United our 4th Champions League trophy so far in our history, and a massive dub for this season. For the eagle-eye people out there, that's why we're in the Champions League while finishing in 6th place, because we have won the Champions League this season. And again, it was a bit of a weird season. Boniface 20 goals, Josh Xerxes 22. Like I've said, I keep trying to bring in someone to replace him up top. Doesn't seem to work. Cunha 13-3, Yildiz 9-9, Ahmad 8-9, Guerrera 6-3, Edison 6-6, and Mbuemo, we've just seen scored 2 massive goals. He only scored 3 this season and got 4 assists, and is looking to potentially leave the club. I brought him in because I've seen the stories in real life, but he might be heading out. But Mbuemo to United, massive victory in real life. Mainu Edison rotating well in the midfield as well. And it looks like some of our higher potential players are growing at a very good rate. And the youngsters as well are doing really, really well. Someone else that I was very impressed with this year, Tyler Fredrickson, just a really good rotation option for us. I'm very happy with this guy's progression. We juiced his stats a little bit as the rebuild started. I think he's on like 150-ish potential, which is a good Premier League centre-back, and that's exactly what he's become. But we really needed to try and improve this season, because I've had enough of being a Champions League side. I know we've just won it, but I want to win the Premier League so we can really get going on these records. So the best signing we've made is Xavi Simons to come into a central attacking midfielder role. I feel like we need that real creative genius. I have got rid of Ryan Mbeumo. He's gone to AS Monaco. So Xavi Simons, Joshua Zirkzee, and Victor Boniface up front, I think is amazing. With Amad Diallo, Mateus Cunha, Koyemenu, all rotating in all of them positions. I think that's a massive upgrade in Cam. My other signing is for a brand new right wing back in Arnau Martinez. The reason I got this guy is because he can defend. And I think something we're finding a little bit is we're getting caught down that right-hand side by being a tiny bit too aggressive. So what I've done is I've switched into this system here with a wing rather than the box. Amad playing as a traditional right winger. Zirkzee up front, of course, rotating with Boniface. Simons in Cam, of course, rotating with Cunha. But Amad Diallo pretty much having this right wing spot to himself. I have got Bendito Mantato in the first team this season. We know how good this guy can be, and he's a really good sort of rotation with Amad. I've now got Toby Collier and Edison as backups in these roles as well. And of course, Koyemenu also a backup for us, which is great to see. Mateus Fernandes, the backup right wing back. Aiden Heaven, Fredrickson, both staying at the club as backups, as well as Mazraoui to Yoro, De Ligt and Martinez. Dorgu has progressed really well in this rebuild. A few people were surprised by that in the comments. I actually didn't touch this guy's potential at all. I just loaded up and plugged him into this left wing back role. So good. Pace, crossing, defensive stats have got good as well, and determination, off the ball work. Really, really good from Patty Dorgu. So great to see him doing well. And of course, our signing last season in goal, Dennis Seaman, was a decent signing. 6.94 average rating, first year, but progressing so well. And an outrageous goalkeeper. Of course, we won the Champions League last year, which means we'll be, up there with the favourites for it again. But the consistency over a whole season is what we are looking for. We need to finally put that together and win the Premier League. It's safe to say our performance over a single 90 minutes is really strong, as we find ourselves once again in a Champions League final. This time the other side from North London. Arsenal is who we are facing. Gabby Jesus gets them 1-0 up before a wonder free kick from Jay-Z makes it 1-1. Zirkzee then holding up the ball, finding Martin Fernandes to Menu to Amad to cut inside from that right wing to find Xavi Simons for a 2-1 lead in this game. But Arsenal are going to tie things up. Ben White down the right-hand side finds Odegaard in the middle to find Kai Havertz out wide to Saka. I've got to say, a beautiful goal for Arsenal to send this game to extra time where we ran away with it. We absolutely smashed them, and we are going to make it back-to-back Champions League victories. But it's not the thing that I was really looking to win this season. I was looking to win the Premier League, which I know sounds absolutely crazy, but it's really annoying me how we can't seem to do it. Because it's Arsenal that win the Premier League. They get 84 points, we get 74. I actually would have traded the Premier League for the Champions League in this instance, because it's really frustrating me that we cannot put a season together of just consistency. 8 losses and 8 draws, losing to Spurs, Newcastle, City, Chelsea, West Ham, Newcastle, Arsenal and Villa away from home is annoying. Drawing silly games like Luton, Brentford, Leeds, Brentford, West Ham. Stupid draws, I've got to say, and it's really starting to frustrate me. In terms of goals, we are sitting in 6th place and conceded in 7th. So we're performing really well based on them two. Sort of the fact that we're doing well in both of them is really good. Possession-wise, we're not looking to hold a lot. We are playing counter-attacking football in this system. And things are getting there, but just not quick enough. Boniface, 27 goals this year in 24 starts is outrageous. Chido Obi on loan this season, 20 goals in 48 games. And that was at Leicester as well, who are in the Championship and has just got them to 2nd place. So that is a really successful loan spell for him, which is amazing. And Mbeumo out on loan, done well. We'll get some good money for him next season. Amad, 28 goal contributions. Zirkzee definitely fell off a little bit with just 15. Xavi Simons with 12. Yildiz was out on loan this year as well. Cunha didn't play too much, which is sad, but probably time to move him on. We are now in 2029. Mantato, Guerrera, Cobby, all doing bits, but it's just very frustrating. We just can't put it together. If we would sort this by the day, it's just them weird losses in the middle of seasons, which just pretty frustrating. We need to be better than that to win the title, and it's something that we're just not managing to do to get over the line. So I think we've got to make some big decisions. I'm upgrading the defence drastically with a couple of signings. Number 1, Willian Pacho. He has been unbelievable for PSG since he joined them. Great in the Champions League final. A quicker, younger left-footed centre-back. He is now 27. But Lisandro Martinez, we're getting a little bit caught out by him. We are now 6 seasons in. We need to upgrade. So William Pacho is who I've got there. He was be outstanding. And in the right wing back position, I've gone with one of my favourite right wing backs on Football Manager on this year's game. It's Hector Fort. He's quick. He's 6'1". And trust me, these stats are about to grow a ridiculous amount, because up until this point, he's made 9 caps for Barcelona, which is very weird because he's also made 18 caps for the Spanish national team. There is something there, and this guy always progresses into a demon. He is consistent, likes big matches, and he is going to be a god for us down that right wing back role. I've also made the sale of Zion Suzuki and brought in young, high potential goalkeeper Dicini de Suaza, but that is it. I actually think that the few defensive upgrades, them silly games that we're drawing 2-2, 3-3, is going to stop. We have got a bit of a younger and quicker defence, and the rest of it, I think, is there. I've brought Mbuemo back into the team rather than sending him back out on loan. Mainu back up to Simmons, Mbuemo back up to Yamad, Jay-Z back up to Boniface, Mantato, Collier, Edison, Arnau Martinez, Heaven, Fredrickson, Lisandro Martinez, and the Suaza in goal. I think this is it. I think we have finally built the team to win the Prem. Well, first of all, we got to another Champions League final. This time we lost it on penalties to Real Madrid. But my God, have we actually built a super team. I know we've not won the Premier League as of yet, but showing we can get to back-to-back Champions Leagues means as soon as we've won the Premier League, we're going to be unstoppable, because the momentum that will give us, and then going for all these record breakers, moving into more meta tactics, etc., it's going to be worth it, and it's going to be a fantastic story. It was the Premier League this season that we were concentrating on, and we kicked it off with a goal from Hector Fort, giving us a win against Newcastle, a victory over Fulham, and then having them sloppy draws and losses, losing to Brighton, a decent draw to be fair, away from home against Liverpool at Anfield, but then that 2-2 against Southampton really haunts me. We did batter Aston Villa, Sheffield United, West Ham and Crystal Palace, and then drew to Spurs and Bournemouth in back-to-back games. Just really annoying because again in the month of December, a loss to Sunderland in the middle of a 6-0 against Wolves and a 3-0 against Chelsea. We then lost to Manchester City and Newcastle in the month of January, but beat Brighton, Fulham, Liverpool, Brentford, Southampton and Sheffield United in February. And I've got to say, the form just carried on from there, which led us to finally lifting the Premier League trophy. It's only 80 points. It is not outrageous. I was expecting more than that, but a 47 goal difference, 8 losses, 5 draws, 25 wins. We have finally won the Premier League. We have toppled Spurs. I can't believe I'm saying that, but Spurs and Arsenal, the last 3 seasons, has been a thorn in our side. And finally, we have got above them. We scored the second most goals, only by a single, losing out to Manchester City. And defensively, them signings of Hector Fort and William Pacho, I knew they'd make a big difference. That is literally all I changed. We conceded like 14 goals left, and we're just 1 behind Arsenal in that. Our data hub is looking incredible. You can see 2 goals scored per average on game and 0.76 being conceded. In terms of the goals scored, Xerxes, again, unbelievable. 24 goals, replacing Victor Boniface. I can't stop Joshua Xerxes. He just loves to score goals. And the thing is, this season, Cheeto's had another loan spell, this time at Nottingham Forest, also in the Championship, done even better. I feel like I have to bring Cheeto into the fold now. He is a Danish international, 4 goals in 6 games, 16 finishing, 15 composure, great speed. How do I not use Cheeto at this point? I mean, he is quite literally like our striker for the future in real life. I am now in the future, and he is performing at a ridiculous level. I might sell either Xerxes or Boniface to make space for Cheeto. Mainu, really good this season, 14 goals, 9 assists. Has really developed into a central attack midfielder for us. Attack midfielder on attack is where he's been playing. He's doing really well there. Get Javi Guerrera from DM as that sort of pusher forward, Roman playmaker, 23 goal contributions. Ahmad with 30. And Mbuemo, good off the bench, 9 and 5. Lenny Yoro, a superstar, 4.5-star player, the best player at the club. And my God, what a guy he is. He could be the club captain soon enough. Hector Fort, great signing. 12 assists, 3 goals. And I mean, look at him. Stats-wise, already growing a fair amount. Like I said, he's brilliant on this game. I trust him every single time to get the job done. Fredrickson, 15 starts, 14 off the bench. Really good rotational centre-back. And look at the growth in him. He's a leader. He's got great first touch, marking, passing, heading, tackling, great speed. Amazing rotational centre-back for us. I love the fact he's done this well. I don't know the fact that Aiden Heaven hasn't progressed, and it's probably time to move on from him. But other than that, I am buzzing with how the squad is developing, and I think we can now look to go on to these record-breaking stats. A reminder, the stats we're looking into now is most points in the season, most wins in the season, fewest defeats in the season, longest unbeaten run, most goals in the season, least goals in the season, biggest win, and player league goals in a season. So we've got to build 3 different tactics. One to get the most out of a striker, and so he can go and get all the goals. One to go and dominate on the points tally and really show we're a top tier side. And finally, the defensive tactic. To kick things off, we are going meta. The 4-2-3-1, the trusty formation to go out there and break some serious records. And why not make some fantastic signings at the same time? A brand new defensive midfielder, Giorgio Scalvini. I've never seen this guy as a centre defensive midfielder. I'm very excited to see what he can do because he looks amazing. As a defensive midfielder on support, he's got the physicals, he's got the mentals, he's 6'4", and he's really good on the ball. I think he's going to be unbelievable. And we're actually going to play him there rather than centre-back. And finally, I'm not sure if you've heard of this guy. It's Lamine Yamal. He's quite a good youngster in real life. Yes, we're getting into silly season. I am no longer doing any sort of realism. Lamine Yamal has joined Manchester United. £100 million rising to 117. Not actually that bad of a signing, to be honest. He has not done unreal at Barcelona, but every season has been over a 7 average rating. And it's safe to say he's one of the best players in the game and in the world. And in real life, I actually think he's possibly the best player in the world. He is just an absolute joy to watch. And for the rest of this rebuild, we get to watch it in a United shirt, which is amazing. So this is your new look Manchester United side with Seaman in goal, Fort and Dorgu, the most attacking wing-backs you've ever seen, with William Pacho and Lenny Yoro at centre-back, Scalvini and Agate strong in the midfield, Ahmad, Yamal, Mainu and Xerxes. That front 4 is unbelievable and so scary for teams to face up against. Chido is in the team for this season as well, keeping him in from his loan spell. A massive, massive part of the reason we've done that is because, of course, we have sold Victor Boniface. Harry Amas is still here. Haven't really touched him too much, but progressed into a pretty decent left back and will most likely be staying around for this season as well. Toby Collier, again, very similar, will be staying around. We've now got 2 defensive midfielder positions, so I think he'll stay around. He's a decent Premier League midfielder. He fits the sort of homegrown bill and is obviously through sort of kind of our academy, obviously with the Brighton Academy, but ending up in ours and is a very, very good player. So I love this team. I love the front 4. I love the whole thing. I love it. We've built a great team. And let's now just go and see if we can dominate football for years to come, score 5,000 goals and break so many records. Now, funny enough, moving on to the 4-2-3-1 actually meant we were a little bit less stable. So we lost to Barcelona in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, 7-5 in aggregate, while winning the second leg 3-1, which means we lost 6-2 in the first leg, which is just absolutely crazy, but that's what the 4-2-3-1 does. The Amorim systems we built were actually very, very good on a consistent basis at just getting results over the line. But it also had the ability to absolutely ruin teams. And this is a sort of record which in the Arsenal and Rangers ones we have done has taken us to the final season. Not this time. The biggest win has always been very, very difficult. This 4-2-3-1 with this Manchester United side is an absolute joke. Remember, the biggest win in United's history is 10-0. We are going to beat that. Lamine Yamal on the ball right now, cuts it back to Harry Amas, to Manuel Agate for 4-0 in 25 minutes in a home Champions League game against Steaua Bucharest. Yamal then whips it in, a header, Chido Obi in the 42nd minute, grabbing his first of the game. Xavi Simons, I believe his second penalty of the game made it 6-0 by half-time, but we weren't going to slow up. Xavi Guerrero and De Ligt linking up. Harry Amas, what are you doing there? Don't know. Mainu, open space, goal, 7-0. It's ridiculous when it starts to get to this level because for some reason, you just carry on scoring goals. Oh no, Martinez drives to the right-hand side. Mainu's there again. It's 8-0 in 62 minutes. Well, here's the 66th. Mainu on the ball once again. Back to Agate, back to Mainu. A lovely dink in. And Chido's there to grab his second of the game. Lamine Yamal on the ball, left-hand side. Harry Amas, Xavi Guerrero, Harry Amas. Bendito Mantato? No. Chido Obi, his third of the game and his hat-trick in a Champions League game is amazing to see. But in the 85th minute, we broke our first record. Mainu found Bendito Mantato, a long-range effort to make it 11-0 in a game in the Champions League. That's absolutely mental. We just had 39 shots to their 2 and won 11-0. And it wasn't the only big victory, I'll be honest. We won 11-0, 7-0, 6-0, 5-1, 5-0, 5-0, 5-0, 4-2, 4-2, 4-1, 4-1. A bunch of crazy, crazy results. Which led us to winning the Premier League on 94 points, which is the highest points tally, apparently, of Manchester United. Was 92 previous, now 94. 30 wins, also breaks the wins in a season's record, as that was 28. So we have broken 3 records in one season using the 4-2-3-1. The biggest win, the most wins, and the most points. That is a massive, massive dub. And a lot of it was down to one man. And he's a man that we've tried to move on from. It's Joshua Zirkzee. 35 goals and 4 assists in 44 games. Joshua Zirkzee, a 30-year-old, is one of the best finishers I've ever seen. He is simply unbelievable. But what's absolutely crazy is that how good Zirkzee has been throughout this rebuild, we haven't even managed to get him or any player to win a Golden Ball or a Ballon d'Or. It's just been dominated by, Bellingham, Mbappe and Haaland has been the top 2 for the last 2 years. And we just can't break into it. So, sadly, even though Jay-Z's been this good, he's not won a Ballon d'Or. But the one thing that we just missed out on, despite all of them crazy victories, was the most goals in a season. It was probably in a 42-game season, but I don't care. I want to break it anyway. United scored 102 goals. We are currently on 98, so we have got some improvements to be made. I don't know how you improve this team or how you get more goals, to be honest. There was goals from everyone, and there was a lot of them. I think it's just a case of going again and seeing if somehow we score more goals, which I suppose with the youthfulness of the side, that will happen. To be honest, though, I say the youthfulness of the side. Amad Diallo now 28, Ugarte 30, Mainu 26, Pacho 29. They're not spring chickens anymore. We are quite a experienced side for the Premier League. We haven't got many 21-year-olds and etc. in here, so we'll have to see. We should really be in our prime, which could mean this record-breaking section actually ends quite quickly. If we just plug in the correct tactics and the right signings, we could smash it. Another player I want to touch on, Hector Fort. Yeah, he's good. 4.5-star player. 24 assists, 4 goals. I told you, this guy is a joke. Even the fact that he didn't develop at all, cost us £28 million, 7.35 this season. He's just an absolute god at right back. I don't understand it. Every save I've done with him, he's unbelievable. So if you've not ever used him, do yourself a favour. Go and use him because he's brilliant. But this season, we do say goodbye to a legend. A club legend at this point, I reckon. Joshua Zirkzee has left after an unbelievable 8 seasons. We've just grabbed £91 million for him, which to me, we just couldn't turn down because there's another striker and the one that I think is good enough to go and break all the records in terms of goals to go up there, because as good as Zirkzee is, he's got 15 finishing and 14 composure. We can improve on that. And he is now 30 years of age. And to grab 91 million, it's not bad going. Just to mention the finances as well, we have cleared all the debt now, which is amazing. And we are becoming quite a rich club, which is great. Even after my business this summer, we have £190 million in the bank to spend if I wanted to. But I don't really need to. Because number one, I brought in the striker, which I think is good enough to break all the records, is Francesco Kamada. He's one of my favourite young strikers in real life at AC Milan. And here he is on FM. 19 determination, slightly better finishing, slightly better composure, and slightly quicker the meta things on FM. He's just 23. He's consistent, and him and Chido Obi to rotate in that striker role, amazing. Obviously, the season we go for the one striker breaking records, we're going to have to choose one. Whichever one does better before that point will be the man to go to for that. But for this guy, he's unbelievable and I'm a huge fan. Next up is 2 regens, and number 1 is Michael Murray, an English left back signed from Norwich. This gives me Luke Shaw vibes. This guy has been unbelievable for Norwich in the Championship, so maybe not, but good speed, great concentration, leadership, crossing ability, decent enough defensively. Just don't break a leg. He's already got the injury proneness. Please don't break a leg, because you could be the Luke Shaw that we all wanted. And finally, it's the Wesley Sneijder we all wanted. It's Bert Zijstra from Willem 2. Apologies for the pronunciation. A 6'1", so a little bit on the bigger side, but great physicals, great flair, determination off the ball, crossing, dribbling, first touch, passing, consistency. 18 years of age, already a cap for the Dutch national team, a wonder kid, cost us £25 million. We might as well get some youthfulness into the team as well. And I mean, Bert just looks brilliant. So to be honest, not a lot of changes in terms of the first team other than Murray is probably now our starting left back over Dorgu. And in terms of the striker position, Kamada takes up that striker role. The rest of the team stays the same. Let's now try and go and score a ridiculous amount of goals. But once again, we have broken the points tally record, now at 95. It is back-to-back Premier League wins, which is absolutely amazing. One thing I also find quite cool is the top goal scorers charts. Joe Bellingham is in second place at Norwich, which is very, very cool to see him smashing it at Norwich. He's had a very weird career so far, but awesome to see him doing so well. And a cap for the English national team, which I've always never got, which is so frustrating. Jamie Donnelly also in third place for Spurs, smashing it. We saw him earlier on doing really well, and he's doing really well still. So cool to see a couple of the youngsters doing well. What is good, though, to see is we have finally broken the goal scoring record. 105 goals. We have done it. And it was without a top goal scorer as well, which is even more impressive. Chido Obi grabbed a 7.48 when he played, grabbed 14 goals in the Premier League, 24 overall, but it was the man we signed, Francesco Kamada, who grabbed the most. 33 goals, 3 assists. Xavi Simons 17, Diallo 16, Lamine Yamal 14 and 22, Mainu 14 and 17, Bert with 8 and 7, and Michael Murray 8 goals, 15 assists. It brings a tear to my eye to see a Luke Shaw regen come in here. It's amazing. We love to see it. Big Michael Murray is here. Hector Fort, 12 assists. Dorgu, 13 assists. 11 from Manu Agate as well. But it was just the sheer amount of big victories we had this season. It was a little bit crazy. And there wasn't many games we didn't score a goal in. In fact, only 3. Arsenal, Spurs and Liverpool, all away from home. So not really a surprise that we didn't, score in every single game. But so many 4-0s, 4-1s, 5-0s, 6s scored 3 times against Leeds, Brighton and Norwich. So it's just an absolute menace of a team. I actually think for the first time in this whole entire rebuild, we are also in the Carabao Cup final. I don't think this has happened yet. So it's good to see that we are finally here. And it's good to see Mantato and Hector Fort link it up down the right-hand side against Manchester City, who are going to grab a goal back as Haaland flicks on a near-post corner onto Gvardiol for 1-1. Dorgu then finds Xavi Simons, back to Dorgu, gets into Simons once again. A lovely finish into the back of the net for 2-1. But City bounce us back once again. Jeremy Doku down the left-hand side, driving into the box. Back stick, Candish, ball back across. Doku, Chouameni, 2-2. Game goes to extra time, and it was one of our brand new signings that stepped up and really showed he was Manchester United quality as Dorgu whipped it in, and Big Bert was there to head home and give us the Carabao Cup in a 3-2 against City. And it was City who we also faced in the Champions League final, where Jeremy Doku got on the left-hand side and gave them the lead in the 96th minute. But we have got a cult hero on our hands. His name is Big Bert. Amad Diallo finds him on the run through the middle. He finishes home, sends this game to penalties, and we win it. Big Bert has just scored 2 goals in back-to-back finals to beat Manchester City. What a legend. He's already a hero of the club, and overall a pretty decent season. A kind of treble, winning the Prem, Champions League and Carabao Cup, but not the treble. That is hopefully coming up very, very soon. We are just on an absolute rampage at this point. The only thing that now I think we need to move on to is trying to get a striker to score more than 32 goals in a Premier League campaign. This year you can see there was strong rotation because Amad Chibo and Francesco Kamada all scored 14. We need to get one to score 32. So we need to lock a striker in and build a system which just feeds them. So I actually just didn't make any transfers because I think we've built a good enough squad for now and for the future. It was just a tactic that we created. Now, I don't know if this is going to be good enough to win the league or anything. My sole focus is not get sacked and get Francesco Kamada to score 33 plus goals in a season. Back four for Euro Pacho Murray, a very strong midfield trio of Mainu, Scalvini and Simons, with Amad and Yamal starting deep. hopefully running up there and just passing the ball to Kamada. I believe I've got them on shoot less often. Both of them I have. Well, Kamada, shoot more often. Get the ball to this guy and let him stick it in the back of the net. Which, despite setting up the tactic to do just exactly that, get the ball and give it to Francesco Kamada, it was never actually that easy. The team started really hard at the pitch all the time. You can see here, it literally looks like a 4-2-3-1. It's not. We've got the deep wingers, but it doesn't matter because Kamada is an absolute bagsman and he was able to sort of be there on mistakes like that. Again, long ball going forward, Pacho on the ball, Mainu on the ball. You can see there the space Kamada can operate in to grab his second of this game. And this was just one of the many hat-tricks that Kamada got this season. Taylor drove through the defence, found Xavi Simons on that left-hand side. A beautiful ball to find Kamada to grab that third. But did he grab enough goals to win the record of most goals in a single season? Yes, he did. He grabbed 33 in the Premier League with a 7.39 average rating and overall grabbed 49 goals and 4 assists in 55 games. Francesco Kamada, if you need a goal scorer, he is your man. He's unbelievable. And we've managed to win the Premier League again on 84 points, which is fantastic to see. He actually got the most player of the matches. Seaman, most clean sheets. We've managed to build like a really defensive tactic at the same time, which is pretty cool to see. And in terms of the team and how we did, we locked Kamada in to that striker position. He was actually injured towards the end of the season. And Lamine Yamal, we locked into that left wing role, and he was unbelievable. He grabbed 22 assists this season and 9 goals, which is brilliant. Other goal scorers wise, obviously no one came close. Chido grabbed 16 as the rotation and filling in for when injured. Xavi Simons 11, Ahmad with 10. We done the plan perfectly. Kamada scores all the goals, the rest set him up. It's brilliant, the system worked, but it's now time to go to one of the harder ones to do. We need to lose less than 3 games, we need to go 45 games unbeaten, and we also need to concede less than 22 goals. In terms of the unbeaten record, we have made a pretty good start on that this season. In the second half here, you can see there's about a 20-25 game span there, which we are unbeaten. We have never gone more than that in this rebuild. So we have made a pretty good start. The only issue is it is Club World Cup season, which means if we lose one of these games, which are effectively pointless, we lose the record. So we need to attempt to try and win them. But also, we need to talk about the other trophies we won this year, because we battered Arsenal in the Carabao, beat Crystal Palace 1-0 in the FA Cup final, and beat Chelsea 1-0 in the Champions League. So for the first time in United's history, we do not only a quadruple, a 5-tuple, as we also win the Community Shield as well, in a simply unbelievable season using this crazy tactic, which will also be available on the Patreon. If I can just remind you, make sure you like the video. If you got to this point, there's no excuse. Just head down below, smash that like button, and why not subscribe to the channel. Now this season again, I made no signings. We have built a force of a team. The best team I probably ever built on Football Manager. And all it was to build was a tactic. And this is the tactic we have gone for. My defensive 5, which I have used pretty much every time for these record breaker rebuilds. A standard goalkeeper, 3 defenders just defending. Amad Diallo and Murray as the 2 wing-backs, getting forward and giving them an option with a very defensive midfield of Agate, Simons and Mainu. The midfield pivot and trio works really well. 2 big advanced forwards up there to capitalise on mistakes. Chido and Kamada. Get your guesses in down below. Who's scoring more this season? Chido or Kamada? But first of all, we need to see if we can break the records. Less than 22 goals, less than 3 losses, 45 games unbeaten. But of course, we lost in the final of the Club World Cup final against Boca 1-0. So that's a bit of a kick in the teeth, because that's a game we really shouldn't be losing, and it breaks our record streak. So we are back down to 0. We've now got to go on a mental run. But what I will say is this tactic is crazy. So let's see what we can do across all competitions, shall we? Well, an unbeaten and victory-laden month of August wins the Community Shield, the Super Cup, games against Fulham, Leeds and Norwich, and only conceded 1 goal in the Premier League, which is a great start. Moving on to September, 1-4 and drew 1 against Barcelona. October, won every single game, including a 6-0 against Luton. In November, won every game other than a 0-0 draw against City. I don't mind that at all. We didn't concede. Amazing result. And in December, we also went unbeaten. So we're about 30 games in to our streak. And all we need to do is carry that on. And in January, that is exactly what we've done. 4-1, 6-0, 5-1, 5-0, 5-0, 2-2 against Norwich is very frustrating. 6-1, 3-1, 3-0, 1-1, 5-0, 3-1, 1-0, 4-1, 3-2, 2-1, 0-0, 3-1, 3-1, 2-0, 2-1, 0-0, 6-0 win, 0-0 draw, and we eventually lost away from home against West Ham, a goal from Thomas Christensen. But was all of these games more than 45? Yes, they were. It was 54, and our new matches without losing streak is set in stone. We also managed to only lose 2 games all season with a 75 goal difference, which means we also only conceded 19 goals while scoring 94. An unbelievable tactic which hits teams on the break, scores goals, and doesn't concede many. In terms of the goal scorers, Kamada 44, Chido 32, Lamine Yamal 27, developed into a striker, and Xavi Simons 27 assists, which is outrageous. We have now broken the 8 records we set out for this final season. We won every single trophy. AC Milan beaten in the Champions League, FA Cup 1, Carabao Cup 1, Community Shield 1, Super Cup 1, Premier League 1. My job here is done. Manchester United are the best club to ever grace the earth once again. I have broken 8 fantastic records and you have just smashed that like button. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and I'll speak to you next time.